What's up, y'all? Sugar V with Reality Recap here for another Tea Talk session. Today, we are discussing the final part to the Married to Medicine. Is this season 12 reunion? I believe so. Let's make sure, though. I don't want to be giving y'all the wrong information. Yes, duh, I know this. My final thoughts on the season 12 of Married to Medicine and the reunions. This reunion was two parts. I'm going to just give you a quick rundown because I have not done a video in quite a long time. So I'm not going to do a full recap. I'm just going to give you my thoughts because I'm pretty sure you've seen the finale, reunion part one and part two that aired yesterday. Before we get started, let's take care of some business. Please make sure you like this video. Share this video, please. I appreciate your support and subscribe to my YouTube channel and set your alerts so you don't miss any of my Tea Talks, whether pre recorded or live. Where, if they are live, you can interact, comment, and give your thoughts as I give you my unsolicited thoughts. And make sure you watch my shorts. I've been giving you a lot of short videos just with breaking news from all reality TV trending shows and topics. And follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. What you see at the bottom of the screen, reality_recap for all your trending reality news and gossip. As far as Married to Medicine, I believe this was an amazing season. There was not a dull moment or dull episode. I was actually glad that the reunion was only two parts because I felt like we jumped right into it. Um, I think the housewives can take a note from that. We usually have three-part reunions for the housewives, and the second or first episode always feels like a filler episode where we could have just got straight to the point and only had two reunion episodes. Sometimes these housewives reunions don't really need to be three parts. And I feel like that was even proven here with this two-part reunion. I feel like we hit the ground running and we took off. Now, as far as the finale and my thoughts overall for this cast, um, I don't feel like Contessa brought a lot to the reunion or to the season other than bad fashion. Yes, we got to see her birthday party that she complained that her husband didn't help her with. And even at that point, I think I was doing recaps where I said, I felt like she was back to her old ways of saying too much about her relationship or her man and giving like a Dr. Heavenly or the internet MO against her marriage. I was glad to see she pulled back after that and we got the trip that she hosted, which was a great trip. Cool. Brandy is a good addition to this cast. She gives a positive vibe, but she's not nice to the point where she ain't gonna let one of these heifers have it. And she don't play about her husband or her kids. She made that very clear. And I felt like she clocked Contessa at this reunion when they went back to how Contessa was acting at her birthday dinner, which Contessa really did have a lot to say under her breath, but not to her face. And it was clear that she was more so jealous, if I'm being honest, that Brandy's husband had this dinner for her, whether it was a huge party or not. It was a dinner planned and paid for, where she just had to show up with her friends and have Contessa had this huge production that she really had to put on for herself. As far as Mimi and Steve, I was happy to have them return. I thought that they are a great, I'm not going to say I thought, I do think they are a great addition as well. I commended in my earlier recaps them showing their family dynamic and having a son with special needs, that they are showing the challenges as well as the positive wins with their son's development and with their family. I thought that was wonderful to see and watch. And I commend them for showing that. I really, really do. Now, I felt like the tension between Mimi and Toya and it's spilling into Steve and Eugene, it just went on and on and on. I was saying that early on, like not too much on Toya. It's like Mimi was a dog with a bone, that she had an issue with Toya. She didn't want Toya to host the trip. What really got me annoyed with Mimi and Steve was the finale. as well as the other ladies. Now, is Toya always right? Is she no? Is she always, does she say things that maybe she shouldn't say? Maybe so. Is she a conversation starter? Is she going to keep it 100 and make sure that these girls are talking about the things they need to talk about? Absolutely. She's not going to play nice when there's a problem. All right. What I did not like is how I felt Dr. Jackie orchestrated for a setup of Toya. They came up with a plan, in my opinion, to have Toya host the Med Gala in the hopes to see her fail. And then after trying to set her up in this way and realizing, uh-oh, our names are still on this last minute. We need to know everything that's going on, where every dollar is going, when she's already in the thick of things, when she's already on this hosting a couples trip that she's trying to have these conversations, and Heavenly is cursing her out and they don't want to listen. Steve and Mimi are saying they're out. They don't want to have any parts to it. Brandy is saying, y'all didn't include me, so don't include me now. I felt like they wanted to see her fail. So to see scenes of Mimi saying things like, "Well, you guys are supposed to have a committee and fundraiser founders, or this you should have a committee for this, and this should be organized this way." Her having this knowledge but not willing to share it with Toya was, and just saying that we're out of it. I didn't like that. And I was honestly surprised to see them show up at the Met Gala when they said that they were out. When Steve said they already have a foundation and a fundraiser that they do, they're not going to be part of it. I was surprised to see them show up. And then to see them show up thinking that they weren't going to pay for a ticket. Brandy seemed to have known that she had to pay for a ticket and did so. And even if you didn't, if you felt like Eugene and Toya shouldn't have handled it that way, it wasn't something that you had that needed to be turned into you feeling like, oh, Toya and Eugene targeted us. It was a targeted attack. For you to pay $150 for a ticket that you felt like that was a targeted attack. And then to turn that into, well, you know what? Do you want this $150 per ticket, or do you want me to donate? You can't do both. It's still about the charity at the end of the day. I just didn't like that at all. I really, really didn't. And then to get to the reunion and Steve is saying things like, oh, you're Eugene Bush. Eugene stood up for his wife, and they're saying, well, you don't tell her when she's wrong. I don't know any married couple that wants to reprimand their wife or their husband in front of others. He may not always agree with how Toya handles things, but just like Dr. Damon said, you don't know what I've talked to Heavenly about. I don't always agree with what she said. Why isn't Eugene extended that same grace? And then for Curtis, I felt like Curtis was going to be on whoever side was against Toya, because he's upset with what Toya said at Watch What Happens Live. Did Toya have to say it in that manner to give this assumption that he touches a lot of women and that he has his hands on a lot of women's waist? No, she didn't have to say it in that way. She could have simply not answered the question, but she's on Watch What Happens Live, She could have just stuck to it being, well, when he put his hands on my waist and pulled me into his lap, I'm going to say I didn't like that. And we've already discussed that and apologized for it, but it seems like he hadn't apologized for it. Curtis wasn't even trying to take responsibility for it, to be honest, and wasn't willing to apologize unless he got an apology for Eugene. And to this day, in this second, I still don't know what he wanted an apology or accountability for. Was it for what Toya said on Watch What Happens Live? I'm not even clear. But Airport Scandal Curtis was seemingly on the side of somebody that he's known 2 seconds instead of Eugene because he doesn't like what Toya said. I didn't like that. I didn't, y'all. And then Contessa to jump in it and say, oh, Well, I don't know where along the line, but it turned into the Eugene and Toya show. You damn right. Y'all all had Eugene and Toya name in your mouth the entire season. Toya can't do this right. Or, oh, we want Toya to do this. And oh, why can't you? Why is she the one to do the couple trip? Which I thought they did an amazing job. You can say I'm Team Toya and Eugene. Even if I am Team Toya and Eugene, because I saw some people in my comments saying dumb stuff like, oh, so you're okay with the way Toya speaks to him because you say you're team somebody. I was team them in the situation against Steve and Mimi. I'm not a stan of anybody, and I think I've said that enough times. That doesn't mean that I blindly follow any of these people. I don't worship any of these reality TV stars. I know the difference between reality and real life. Okay, I watch it purely for entertainment. And in that situation with the Med Gala and how they withheld helping Toya to see her fail or to go to the lengths to argue behind stage, on stage over $300 worth of tickets, I just didn't care for that. I felt like it was drug on too much and it was almost giving this is my opportunity to stake my claim to stay on this show. And that's how I felt. Nowhere did I say, "Oh, Toya can't do no wrong. Eugene can't do no wrong." Do I think the way that Toya spoke to him at their, what was it like day off of work party or whatever you want to call it? Do I feel like the way she spoke to him in front of everybody? I wouldn't do that to my husband. And that doesn't mean that again, because you team somebody, you agree with everything they do. I have my own brain and thinking. But she's apologized for that on Watch What Happens Live. They're a married couple. They've been married for a long time, and not everything is going to come out the way that it's supposed to. They're living their lives on camera authentically, unlike some of our other couples that want to make like everything is perfect all the time. Take from that what you will. But I truly do believe that Dr. Jackie is the mastermind villain that we continue to overlook because on camera she's so poised, but she gets Heavenly to do a lot of her dirty work. And Heavenly sometimes spills the tea on things like she said, "Oh, Jackie don't even think you can handle this Med Gala." She said that to Toya. There's clear that she's having conversations off camera where there's some masterminding going on, and in this case, it was to set up Toya to fail. Lastly, what I'll say, the conversation between Simone and Dr. Jackie. That's all Dr. Jackie had to say when she was on Watch What Happens Live. Instead of trying to walk this fine line at the end of the day, it's what's right and what's wrong. Did Simone push Heavenly? Absolutely not. Was she unhinged and uncontrollable? Absolutely not. She didn't want to take a picture with Dr. Heavenly. She felt like that was fake. And she said, "Get your arm from around me. I'm not taking no picture with you." We've seen Dr. Heavenly do way worse, getting up, well, yo mama, all the time. She's done way worse on the internet, talking about everybody's family, husbands, the way she did Contessa on the internet on her podcast, for her to have the nerve to be worried about somebody saying something about Dr. Damien. Girl, bye. Please. I'm low key hoping she does win whatever politician seat she's running for so she doesn't return. I think we had enough of Dr. Heaven and we don't need that anymore. I think we can move on from that and continue and be just fine. I do feel like she wants to drop a wedge in between Simone and Dr. Jackie. That's why she's over there to the side. Nah, conversation ain't over. Y'all need to say more to her. Y'all need to say more to her. Like, yeah, she thrives off of that wedge. I believe so. She could say, honest to God, I'm not, but it doesn't come off that way. And I'm sick of it. And unfortunately, even if she's not on the show, sadly, I think she would still get on an internet and do her podcast and talk poorly about her cast members, which she has done for years. And that's how I feel. Again, I thought season 12 was amazing. I think that they're one of the top shows on Bravo. And I can't wait to see who returns in the next season. And that's my final thoughts on the season 12 reunion and season of Married to Medicine. Now, we have so much coming, so make sure you guys stay tuned. We are busy this week. We have the premiere of The Valley, which I will be covering. We have the highly anticipated, even for me at least, new franchise, The Real Housewives of Rhode Island, which will premiere this Thursday, but don't get comfortable. They will move to Sunday, April 5th. So we'll get an episode Thursday, then on Sunday, and they will be back with the premiere of season 17 this Sunday of Real Housewives of Atlanta, honey. Seated. We have new housewives joining the cast, K. Michelle and Pinky, the owner of Slutty Vegan. It's going to be a great week, guys, in the reality TV world. So make sure that you are tuned in. So, again, like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and set your alerts so you don't miss any of my recaps and my unsolicited thoughts. And follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. What you see at the bottom of the screen, reality_recap. Now, before I go, as I always say, reality TV stars are humans too. Let's not forget that. And go ahead, respectfully tell me your comments about Married to Medicine reunion and the season. And keyword respectfully, because I eat you up if it ain't respectful. Or better yet, I'll just block, 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 block. But I appreciate the engagement. It's your girl V with Reality Recap. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day. Peace.